everybody, it's Nikki here and welcome to a bookish video. So today's video is a book haul. Now generally I do these every 2 months. However, I kind of went a little crazy in January. Oops. So if you don't know, I follow a point system which was devised by one of my subscribers. I will leave a link to the video where I talk about my point system, not my point system, my subscriber's point system, and how I use that to help control my book buying tendencies. So I'll leave the link to that in the description box down below. But yeah, one of my subscribers last year came up with this point system, and so basically the gist of it is the books that I read in a month give me a points value for hitting certain criteria, and then that points value is then accumulated together for the month, and then for every 200 points I get, I can buy one book. So my book allowance for January was 4 books, and I bought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9, which is not for. Okay, but but I do have an excuse. Let me just justify myself. I read 3 of those books in January, so I'm bringing in a new rule to my point system. I can do what I like. I did ask the lady who devised the point system plan if she thought it was a good rule, and she said do what you like. So if I read the book in the month that I purchase it in, it does not count in my book allowance because I'm not technically adding it to my TBR. If I bought it in January but didn't read it till February, then it's counted in my book allowance for January. But if I buy it in January, read it in January, it doesn't count to my book allowance. So now we're down to 6 books that I bought. Yeah, no excuse. I went mad in January. But again, another justification, just let me have them. In November last year, I won the book haul token on Bookgammon because it was my birthday month, and I decided to take out the bomb book token on my game of Bookgammon because, let's face it, nobody wants to read a bad book on their birthday. So I replaced the bomb book token with a book haul token, which I won, and yet in November I only bought 1 book. The reason for that being I had my accident, so I became immobile and couldn't go shopping. And also, it was Christmas, so I was buying presents for other people. I wasn't buying for myself, which is probably a good thing, the number of books I already own. And then in December, I also only bought 1 book for myself. So, and I had my book allowance for December was 3 books, and I only bought 1. So technically I was owed 2 books from my book allowance in December. So that kind of makes up, that added onto the 4 for January makes 6, so I'm fine. I'm not fine. I bought way too many books. I can justify it all I like, but I still went over my January book allowance, didn't I? I did. I'm sorry. I hang my head in shame. I'm not ashamed. I love all these books. I'm so excited. I did, however, get a couple of gifted books. So let's go for those first. So one of my bookish buddies from book club read The Blade Itself by Jo Abercrombie, and she didn't like it. She wasn't very pleased with it, and she had the other 2 books. I messaged her to say, hey, If you're thinking of unhauling them, please may I be cheeky and buy them off you. She wouldn't accept any cash, so she just gave them to me. So she gave me The Blade Itself, Before They Are Hanged, and Last Argument of Kings. So yeah, I've got all 3 of these books now for my shelves. I have already read The Blade Itself, but it was a library book and I did really enjoy it. But I hadn't moved on to the other 2 books because I was told that you should really read the Half-Orc King trilogy first with Joe Abercrombie's work. So I have that other trilogy, so I'm going to read that before I move back to these. So by the time I finish that other trilogy, I'll probably have to reread The Blade Itself again. But technically I've already read these ones, so these 2 are added to the TBR pile, so to speak. And then also with the book club that I'm a member of, we did a Secret Santa, but because of my accident with my ankle, the group of girls decided that they would leave it until January to meet up, so we could swap our presents then. And my Secret Santa turned out to be Jess from the group, and she got me Master of Sorrows by Justin Call. So it's another chonker, and this one is hidden from the world, acting from the shadows. It trains its students to detect and retrieve magic artifacts, which it jealously guards from the misuse of others. Because magic is dangerous, something that heals can also harm, and a power that aids one person may destroy another. So yeah, I believe I got the urge to buy this after seeing it was either Ashley from A Frolic Through Fiction reading this and loving it on one of her reading vlogs, or Jade from Jady Ray Reads, who read it and loved it from one of her reading vlogs. It was one of those 2 girls, and it sounded incredible. So it's based in a school. It's quite a floppy paperback too. So I put it on my wish list, and Jess from the book club bought me it as my Secret Santa present. So thank you very much, Jess, for this. Moving on to the 3 books that I bought and read in December. You will have probably seen these already in my January reading wrap-up, which should go up before this video. But the first one was Greek Myths by Jean Menzies. This was actually bought purposely for my TBR because I got the prompt to read a non-fiction hardback, and I didn't own any that I particularly wanted to read, so I used the opportunity to purchase this book that I'd had on my wish list for quite some time. And I did. I read it and loved it. Gave it 4 stars. So really happy to have this now in my possession. The next book I purchased was The Panda, the Cat and the Dreadful Teddy, a parody by Paul Magers. Again, this was one that I had seen in the shop in Waterstones before I had my accident, and I saw it and I kind of read the back of it and thought, that looks really hilarious. It looks like The Boy, the Fox, the Mole and the Horse, and I really loved that story, so I wanted to pick this up. So in January I did, read it within half an hour of it coming through the post, and yeah, absolutely loved it. My husband also has his eye on it as well. And then the 3rd book that I read and loved, dropped everything to read this, was A Thunder of Monsters by S.A. Patrick, which is the 3rd final book, potentially, possibly, question mark, of the Songs of Magic series by S.A. Patrick. Loved this so much. Highly recommend the Songs of Magic trilogy, which starts with The Darkness of Dragons. If you love cute stories about friendship with dragons and griffins and Pied Pipers and girls who are cursed into rats, and yeah, it's just a wonderful magical story about friendship and everybody having their own story to tell and their own journeys to take. And together you can win. I just loved this story, loved it so much. The magic, the world, yeah, just absolutely loved this story. So then moving on to the books that I bought. So the first of those books is a graphic novel. This is Lore Olympus, Volume 1 by Rachel Smith. I got the paperback version. I know that everybody was picking up the hardback, but I found the paperback version, so I picked it up. This is a story. This edition of Smith's original Eisner-nominated webcomic, Lore Olympus, features a brand new exclusive short story and brings the Greek pantheon into the modern age in a sharply perceptive and romantic graphic novel. So it's basically Poseides and... not Poseides. Learn to read, Nicola. Hades and Persephone retelling in graphic novel form. As it says, I believe that this is a webcomic and they've now brought it into physical format like they did with Alice Oseman's Heartstopper series. So yeah, the artwork in here looks phenomenal. So yeah, cannot wait to pick this up and read it sometime. So yeah, I bought myself that. This book I highly anticipated. When I saw it coming out, I was like, I need to pick that up. I do love this woman's handwriting. I do love this author's work, and that is Little Thieves by Margaret Owen. This, I believe, is the story of the villain in a story. So it says, once upon a time there was a beautiful, kind princess and her wicked maid. One day the wicked maid stole the princess's face, and with it her name, her betrothed, everything. The princess had to toil away as a servant, while her maid lived like a queen. When the maid was caught, she died for her crimes, and the princess lived happily ever after. Or that is how the story has been told. Now it's time for the wicked maid to tell her side of the story. So it's the villain's side of the story. Or is it? Dun, dun, dun. I love those kinds of stories. I'm very, very excited to read this. So excited. I just love Margaret Owen's storytelling. So yes, I bought this one. Highly anticipated. Another one, you're not going to be surprised I picked this up. I was kind of gutted that FairyLoot didn't choose this book for their November FairyLoot box, like other book subscription boxes had this book in. And that was Skin of the Sea by Natasha Bowen. It's a mermaid book. It's a mermaid book. So it says, when you peel back the skin of the sea, you never know what you might find. Simi Dell is one of the Mamiwata, mermaids who collect the souls of those who die at sea and bless their journeys home. But when a boy is thrown overboard a ship of enslaved people, Simi saves his life, going against an ancient decree and bringing terrible danger to Mamiwata. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. My northern accent wants to say Wata. I'm not sure if that's the correct pronunciation. Now Simi must journey to the Supreme Creator to make amends, a journey of vengeful gods and treacherous lands. If she fails, she risks not just the fate of the Mamiwata and the boy she loves, but also the world as she knows it. This is a story that will change history. So yes, it's using that old myth of the enslaved people who were thrown overboard on the ships as they journeyed across the sea, and those people turned into mermaids. So they could live on. It uses that sort of mythical story as its basis, and I'm very, very excited for it. Plus, she is stunning, absolutely beautiful. And as I say, I was kind of hoping that FairyLoot would use this book as their November FairyLoot book, but they didn't. They chose something else instead. So yeah, I decided to pick it up in paperback form instead. But yeah, so that's that one. Oh, we're going to be quick because my camera's about to die. The next book, I discovered that Amazon was selling it very, very cheap for £2. So I picked it up. It is Dead Famous, An Unexpected History of Celebrity. So we think of celebrityism as a modern thing, but of course throughout history we have had celebrities, but they just were dealt with differently because they didn't have TV or social media or things like that. So this one does interest my little historical heart, and when I saw it for £2 I knew I had to pick it up. And then the last two books are by an author who I will automatically buy anything they write. It is Alistair Chisholm's duo of books. I believe that Thomas and Ironskin is the first book, and then Kara and Silver Thief is the second book. They are young middle grade books about dragons, and yeah. Alistair Chisholm is the author of Orion Lost, which was my favourite book of 2020. So as I say, he is an auto-buy author for me from now on, just because. And my husband saw these books, and because he loves dragons and he saw that the writing in these is nicely spaced, and there's pictures as well, he's quite interested in buddy reading these with me as well. So hopefully me and my husband can sit down and read these together. So that is my book haul for January. So is there any books here that you have seen and you like? If so, give us a shout and maybe we can buddy read them together in the future. But for now, that is everything. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!